We're just gonna give it a couple of minutes, allow a few more people to join, and then we can get started. All right. Happy Wednesday. Ooh, happy Hump Day. My name is Sandel Sifa. I'm a sales engineer here at Decisions, and I will be your host today for this Lunch and Learn. I don't think we have any pre-submitted questions for today. But if any of you have any questions for me, just put them down in the chat or the Q&A, and we can get started. All right, so I see a question that has been posted just now. How can I make an input to my custom step to be a type of something that is defined in some library that I am referencing? Code compiles just fine, but method is not showing up in Flow Designer. Unfortunately, custom steps are a little bit beyond my expertise at the moment. Have you submitted an IT ticket for this? If you haven't submitted an IT ticket, I would like to, I can't do it for you because I don't know who you are, since you're anonymous, but please submit an IT ticket, and either support or dev will help you with this. Thanks for your question. Anyone else? My. We are a chatty bunch today. If no one has any questions for me right now, maybe we can just build something together. Anyone interested in doing that, or should I give it a minute if you have some other questions? Okay, then let's go build something. Caitlin, are we still looking at the Lunch and Learn slides, or we're looking at my Decision Studio?
I see your Lunch and Learn slide.
My Lunch and Learn slides. Okay, let's do this again.
Well, looks like we have a question.
We do. Hmm. I wouldn't uninstall anything without first backing up. That would be my first, like I would back up everything that I have to do this. I've never really uninstalled a previous version to install a new version unless I hit a hiccup during the installation process. So first, I would encourage you to back up everything you have in your current install. And then try to do the upgrade to version 8. If Decisions needs to uninstall 6 during that upgrade, it will. And if it's not able to do that automatically, it will tell you to uninstall 6. So back up everything and give that a try. Good talk. Do we now see my Decision Studio?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, what do we do? What do we build? Okay. I'm assuming that active form flows are something that a lot of people who are on older versions of Decisions there you have it. Muriel, there is an answer for you here. It says you need to uninstall 6 before installing 8 because of the differences between 8 and 6. Like the decisions, the SSH service versus the decision server, for example. But do DB backup, SHM service. Do the DB backup because the install will need a clean database in 8. So there goes your answer for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks to whoever answered that question anonymously. So for those in older versions of Decisions, when you're working in forms, I know that typically you would use legacy flows to achieve a lot of the things that you do. While the newer versions of Decisions still have the legacy flows, we do want to encourage everyone to make use of active form flows. They are a little more agile and require slightly, in my opinion anyway, fewer moving parts to actually make things happen on the form or to make the form as dynamic as we want. So I know a lot of people who are newer versions of Decisions have actually had the chance to work with active form flows. So I am probably going to do this for the benefit of those who are a little newer to this. So just creating this brand new form. Not a simple form. Please forgive my naming conventions. I never rename anything when I'm on these lunch and learn. Right, so we have this form in here. Now you find the active form flows in the same location or slightly different location. as the legacy flows. So our legacy flows are down here. So you still have access to the data flows, visibility rules, validation rules, outcome rules, everything that you're used to seeing in earlier versions of decisions, 6 and earlier, I guess. But we have these active form flows which have been added. They're not much different from the legacy flows, except, they're configured a little bit differently. And there are a few more steps in there to make the active form flows work a little more easily. So we're going to create this form that's just going to collect some data, maybe calculate some things dynamically based on the data that you put into the forms. So I'm going to do this. Name. I might get that in dynamically, but we'll see. And then I will get my so we're gonna accept the date of birth from the user. And then maybe we can calculate the age of the user. Oh gosh, this form is horrendous. Forgive me, y'all. First of all, I have way too many rows in here. Here's them. Please feel free to ask me any questions if you need me to stop. Did I get rid of my? My number box for the age. I'm going to resize this form. Okay. Now, having done this, you can actually go and calculate the age, which I'll put as an integer value, from the date of birth through the use of an active form flow. So let's do that. So this is just me giving my active form flow a name. And you want to guide your active form flow a little bit. Now you need to tell this flow which of the fields on the form you need it to look at. So do I want to do my calculations based on the name or the date of birth or the age? Those are called triggers. So every time that trigger is encountered, the active form flow is going to run. Now I want my trigger to be the date of birth. So you could set your trigger either to run this rule when the value changes, or when you get out of that control, or when you enter that control. In this case, I want it to calculate the age every time the date of birth field is changed. So if I make a mistake on the year and I go back to change it, I want this that field, that age field, to update automatically and immediately. So that's what that trigger is. Now I can go into my active form flow and I can actually configure it to run and do the calculations inside here. So this is really just a regular workflow. The only way it's different from the typical workflows that you create from inside your designers is that this flow It's going to be tied to this form. So when you go back to your folder structure and you're trying to locate this flow, you actually wouldn't find it there. That's one peculiar thing about active form flows that make them a little bit, trickier to use, but they are very, very powerful and they get the job done. So we have our fields that we want to look at. We want to look at the date of birth. But to be able to calculate my age from the date of birth, I also need to get today's date and then find the difference between the dates. Decisions does this really cool thing where it actually gives you steps that you can use for date calculation. So you have, instances where you can add days, add years, compute, you get the current date, and then you could just massage the values, and then you get the differences in a year, difference in years, difference in months, difference in days. So if I wanted to find the number of days that have elapsed since I was born, I could actually use get difference in days and give it the newer date and the older dates and have it calculate that for me. That's not the step that I want. I want to actually know how old I am. So we're going to go get difference in years. Connect that. And then we can configure the step. So the newer date obviously would be today's date, the current date, and which we can just, select from decisions because it's really cool and it collects that information for us. Next, the older date would actually be that date of birth. What we can do there is to go into that form and pick the value inside the date of birth date picker. So that is going to calculate, give us the results in years here, which I'm going to rename age. And then now, once that is calculated, I want to be able to put that value inside my age number box. So the next thing that I'm going to do, next thing decisions allows me to do is actually set that value right from this flow. So that value of the number box, I can set it right here using set control value. So this here is going to ask me what control I want to set. Then I'm going to go in there and say, I want to set the number box value. Then it's going to ask me what value I want to put inside that number box. And then I will choose age, which is what this step gives to me. Then I can just exit the flow. So this is really, really simple, but it's going to keep doing the calculation for me every time I change my date of birth. So I'll hit OK right here. And then back out of the form.
Hey, Sandra, we got a couple questions about this in the chat for you.
Yeah, sure. A specific item of data repeater instance in a list. Are you able to come off mute and elaborate on this, whoever you are? Please. But if you're asking, I want to make sure I understand your question. I don't know that I do, but if you had data repeater items, let's see, and I hope that I can give you what it is you're looking for here. So let's create a data repeater in here. I'm just gonna leave that as that name. I'm gonna have a name here or email, maybe. That's the first thing. Then I'm gonna have this number box, same number box with the age, which I want to get as int. And then I'm gonna have, yeah, just use these two. Hopefully I won't lose anything if I delete this one. Yeah, of course I did. Typically, you would need to tell this bad boy what type you need it to be. I'm just gonna delete this guy and then try to display just the age over here. Why don't you go back to decimal? Come on. Okay. So you're asking if we can use active form flows to update data repeaters. If that's the question, the answer is yes. Because on this data repeater in itself is like, it's a type of form in itself. So you still have the same form components that you can use on your data repeater, and you still have the ability to create an active form flow from inside the creator, I guess, the designer for your data repeater. So yes, you can update your data repeaters using or items in your data repeaters using active form flows. Because think about your data repeater as, you know, a form, a type of form, because that's what it is. So if you have 4 fields on here, and you wanted to update just one field consistently, you can use your active form flows. So let's say you had like the total amount, the price per item, and the number of items. You could have the total value being calculated by whatever values you enter into your item and your number of items and your price per item. Just have that do a quick multiplication each time. Same as I'm doing out there on that main form here. Oh, that's a little more intricate. If a parent form can update the nth instance of repeater control on it. That is not something that I've ever seen done. And it's not something that I've tried. But I can check that unless someone on this call knows the answer off the top of their heads, I can check that and get back to you if you would send me your email address. Caitlin, are we able to see who that is?
No, it comes up anonymous for me as well.
Oh, okay. All right, Tyson. Keep going. I'm just going to save this and get out of it and test it. Hopefully, Tyson, your full question will be in by then. Okay, so we're going to debug this and hopefully it works. These people are finicky sometimes. All right, do this. Let's go 1, 1. 1990. All right. So here in the debugger, you can actually see, so you can see on the form that the age automatically popped up for me. But inside the debugger, you can actually see that inside the form is where that active form flow lives. You can see that flow that we created, the active form flow that we created. You can see the steps and exactly what the inputs and outputs to those steps are. So I gave it that older date. It took today's date, and then it just did the calculation for me. I also set the order to ignore. I set this to ignore the order because I don't want to be getting negative values because that wouldn't be valid. So this happens for me. And then at this point, it sets that age number box to hold that value 32 for me. And that gets reflected on the form. So if I wanted to, whatever date that I enter, whatever year that I enter, this is going to be recalculated for me. So active form flows are very lightweight, very easy to use. And they kind of help because I build a lot of mini projects, a lot of POCs, and having active form flows helps make my work a lot easier because I can automate a lot of the things that happen on the forms, especially if it's like a big form. So hopefully this is something that will give you a little more confidence when you upgrade your instances from earlier versions to some of these newer versions that use active form flows. 229. 229. What year? Anonymous. I didn't even see that flow there. Yeah, I didn't save the flow. Yes, we lost it. No, I think I can just throw this on there. Put the form. Put an existing form because that form now has been created for me. Put that. Hopefully I saved everything on the form. So I didn't set any validations on this, so 229, the year 2000. That works, anonymous. Let's pick a year that was not a leap year. Let's see how that, if that blows up my whole thing. 97 goes back to 2000. You found a way to break my thing. Thank you, anonymous. All right, let's go help out Tyson. I figure when it comes to 229, you might need some sort of validations rule to handle that. All right, Tyson, so you have a data structure that contains a string, and you have another data structure that contains the same string, but also a list of strings. So the reporting is separated as the list of strings is a complex object. I'm trying to use the filter on the foreign key of the first string to return the list of strings. All right, so this here, Tyson, is something that I'm going to need you to show me. So maybe we are going to promote you so you can have screen sharing access and we can work from there. Tyson, if you're, oh, hi. Okay, good.
You hear me okay? See my screen okay?
Yes.
Cool. This was built by us by the professional services team. So we're just trying to understand how this is working. The Z codes contains, it's an object that contains a provider ID and then a list of Z codes because each provider can have a multitude of Z codes.
Okay.
They have a filter set up. So we have a list of providers in a different object, and it's just the list of providers.
Mhm.
And then the filtering is if the provider ID equals, it's getting values from the other report. I don't
Mhm.
see how to link them. When I click that, we can see the Z codes are there. It's just
Right.
not filtering well. I don't know how to say the other report that you should be getting it from is this report or something.
Okay. Are you putting these on a dashboard of some sort?
Yeah, they do show up on a dashboard. We're trying to find a way to mass import them and update them.
Okay. So I don't believe there's any other setting that you need to put in here. The other report that you're trying to send the values from, you should be able to send that value, set those values or whatever value, the provider ID in the other report. You should be able to set that up as a like a filter of the words aren't coming, like a selection bus, basically, to use to have this report listen to that other report. So if you're sending the values from that report as a selection bus to this report, then you can set this report to listen for whatever value is coming in.
Okay, so you're if we were like do a run flow, we run the provider report, output the list of the current providers. When I go and run the Z codes report, it should have an input step for the provider ID filter.
Yes.
Okay. We'll give that a try.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else, lovely people? All right, so we just completed half an hour, give or take. I'm gonna give like another minute. If anyone has additional questions. If not, I'm just gonna give you all some time back and we can call it a day. Okay then. Enjoy the rest of your week and we'll see you later.
Thanks, Sandel. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.